Okay, let's finish up here. Let me turn down the volume, TV volume. All right, we were on number 17. Here, I'm gonna turn that over. It's a little easier to see through. Okay, on number 17, so step one, look for a GCF. I can tell right off the bat there's things in common here. The key is to look for the greatest common factor. Well, 4 is not in a 2, but 2 is in all three of these numbers. So the GCF is going to contain a 2. You have to look at the letters too. There's an x squared, an x, and a nothing. X is not part of it because there's no x in all of them. Y cubed, y squared, y squared. Each term has a minimum of a y squared. They all have a y squared in them. The first one has a little bit more, but we can't use more than they all have. So 2y squared is going to be x squared y left minus 2 times 6 makes the 12. I need an x, and I already have the y squared, plus 2 times 2 makes 4. I already have a y squared. So that's my GCF step. Now I'm looking at this. It has 3 terms. So going down the list, it could be a perfect square, except 2 does not have a square root. Remember, square root is not half. Square root is what times itself. Okay, and then thinking about crisscross. No, this is not a crisscross problem. It has 2 different variables. So that is the end of that one. All right, number 18 is grouping because it has 4 terms. Now, here's something important. If it's minus in the middle, you only change this sign. Do not change this sign. And that's what everybody wants to do, is change the wrong sign. Don't change the middle minus. Middle minus. Change this. Oops. This sign. All right. So now we're good there. GCF is 7y, so that's going to leave me x plus 4 minus, pulling out a 3x plus 4, parentheses match, so I get x plus 4 times 7y minus 3. All right, and then number 19, this is going to be a crisscross. I've already gone through in my head and I've checked for GCF. I've considered a perfect square. 6 doesn't have a square root. So crisscross. Okay, -6, -5. Get my parentheses started, and it's got to be x times x. The reason it's crisscross and not trial and error is because crisscross doesn't have a number there besides an invisible 1. Anything besides a 1 has to go to trial and error. All right, now I can, 2 times 3 makes 6, and I can get to a 5 with a 2 and a 3 by addition. But I have, ooh, that's a problem. No, here's where you gotta really watch. If I make one of these negative, that's how I'm gonna get the -6. Problem is, I can't get to a -5 if only one is negative. They would both have to be negative to add to a -5. But if they're both negative, they won't multiply to a -6. So 2 and 3 are out. What else could I try? 6 and 1. Don't forget about that combination. All right, 6 times 1. Now I can make that negative and that positive. So everybody's good. So x minus 6, x plus 1. All right, nothing factors farther. Oh, foiled the check. So the check is going to be x squared, positive x, minus 6x gives me minus 5x, last minus 6. Okay, foiled the check. So here, no GCF. It's not a perfect square because 18 isn't a square. This is another crisscross, right? Because there's no number in the front, crisscross. 18 goes there, 9 goes there. 6 times 3 makes 18, and 6 plus 3 makes 9. So it's a K plus 6 and a K plus 3. Okay, here we go. I will highlight, highlight later. Okay, and the last 4. Okay. Jesse, don't you think about making a noise. All right, on the first one, no GCF, this is grouping, parenthesis, parenthesis. Don't change any signs, it's plus in the middle, so it's normal. Pulling out a 2 and an A, B minus 3, plus, I can pull out a 5 and I get B minus 3. Now, if you get something else in these parentheses, go back and find your error. You might not have pulled out the greatest common factor. Okay, so B minus 3 times 2A plus 5. There we go. Okay, this guy is just the difference of 2 squares. So y plus 8, y minus 8. Okay, number 23. No GCF, it's not a perfect square. The next option is crisscross. Yes, it's crisscross. Okay, x, 8 times 5. Oh, sorry, I was factoring it without the crisscross. I'm so used to doing that. 40 goes there, 13 goes there. 8 times 5 makes 40. 8 plus 5 makes 13. X plus 5. And the last, failed to check. X squared, 5x plus 8x, 13x plus 40. Check. Okay, now number 24. No greatest common factor. Step 2. The only thing it could be is a perfect square because it has 3 terms, but 10 doesn't have a square root. Going down, the next 3-term thing is a crisscross. No, it's got a number in the front. Can't be crisscross. Trial and error. Okay, so 3y and y make 3y squared. I need 2 things that multiply to 10, so let's just do 2 times 5. Okay, 2y and 15y. Can 2 and 15 somehow make a 13? If I make the signs work. Yes, 10 and 2, or no, I'm sorry, 15 minus 2 can give me 13. So everything's in the right spot. Let's just get the signs to work. The minus has to go here because this gives me a minus 15, right? That means negative 5. Minus 15 plus 2 is minus 13. Okay, so the check. 3y squared minus 15y plus 2y minus 13y. Last gives me 2 times negative 5. It's negative 10. Check. There you have it.